Hi guys, Kezia's gonna read to you again tonight. She wants to read Curious George Goes to a Movie.
This is George. George was a good little monkey and always very curious. One afternoon, George took a trip into town with his friend, the man with the yellow hat. "Look, George," the man said as they walked by the theater. The movie we've been waiting to see is here. If we hurry, we can make the next show." "2 tickets, please," said the man with the yellow hat. As they walked through the lobby, the smell of popcorn made George hungry. But when they stopped in front of the concession stand, his friend said, "Let's find our seats first, George. The movie is about to begin." Inside the theater, they found 2 seats right in front. The man with the yellow hat whispered, "George, I'll go get you some popcorn now. Stay here and watch
You can say it louder.
watch the movie and please stay out of trouble." George promised to be good.
But yeah, if you need to talk in the theater, you need to whisper.
George was enjoying the movie when all of a sudden a big dinosaur jumped onto the screen. It made George jump right out of his seat. George was curious. Was he the only one to jump out of his seat? He looked around. He was. Looking around, George saw a bright light coming from a little window at the back of the theater. Was that what made the movie appear on the screen? Though he had promised to be good, little monkeys sometimes forget, and soon George was at the back of the theater, but the window was so high not even a monkey could climb up to see through it. Usually there's a room behind a window, thought George, but how could he get inside? Then he saw a door. George raced up the stairs and peeked inside. He saw a strange machine with 2 spinning wheels. It was making a funny noise, and it was making the light that came through the window. Now he could see how the movie worked. But when he stepped into the room, George was surprised to see a boy sitting in a chair. The boy was surprised to see a monkey sitting in the room. In fact, the boy was so surprised he jumped right out of his seat and knocked the wheels right off the machine. Downstairs in the theater, the audience began to shout and stomp their feet. They wanted to watch the movie. But the movie was all over George. George felt awful. The movie had stopped and it was all his fault. "This is no place for a monkey," the boy said, working quickly to unwind George and rewinding the movie. "Why don't you wait by that window while I fix this mess?" As George waited, he looked out the window at the audience and the big blank screen. When he moved in front of the light that was coming from the machine, he saw his shadow down below. This reminded George of a trick. He arranged his hands just so, and a bunny appeared on the screen. Then George made a dog. "It's a puppy," someone from the audience shouted. "And a duck, and another dog." Others joined in. "It's a bird," they said. George made the bird fly away. Then the audience saw George's shadow up on the screen. They were delighted. "It's a monkey," a child yelled, and the audience laughed and clapped. "This is better than a movie," said a girl to her friend. Just as George was about to run out of tricks, the boy announced that the movie was ready to go. The audience cheered, once for the movie and once for George. The audience was still cheering when the man with the yellow hat ran into the room. "I thought I'd find you in here, George," he said, and he apologized to the boy for the trouble George caused. "He did give me a scare," the boy said, "but thanks to his hand shadows." Everyone waited patiently for the movie to be fixed. Then the boy restarted the movie. "Would you like a treat for your performance, George?" he asked, and before the dinosaurs appeared again on the screen, George and the man with the yellow hat were back in their seats, this time with popcorn.
Good job. Okay, and then we're going to read out of our Jesus Calling Storybook. What are we on tonight? The Tower to the Heavens.
God made people so they could jump and run and do all sorts of wonderful things. God also created us to work together to do great things for Him. Everyone should thank God for these gifts, but sometimes people try to use their skills for themselves instead. That's what happened at a place called Babel. Rather than saying that God was great and thanking Him, the people began to fill up with pride, thinking that they were great. In fact, they thought they were as great as God. "Let's build a tower to the heavens," they said. "One that will be remembered forever. We can stand on the top. People will look up and say, 'Wow, there's something special.'" God didn't want the people to become so full of pride. If He didn't stop them, they would become as sinful as people were
As sinful as people were before the flood.
And God cared about them too much to allow that to happen. To stop them, God confused their speech. "Camel, your..." I don't know what this says.
"Camel, your bucket hat no," said one.
Hairy bird's feet up."
They're just saying nonsense. That's what, it doesn't make sense because all their words are mixed up and they're saying nonsense. That's why it's silly.
"Hairy bird's feet up top," said another. "Tickle the run and donkey," shouted the foreman. What? No one understood what anybody else said. They became confused and grumpy. Soon the people stopped building the tower, and the city altogether used their confusion to make them live in different places. And there they raised families who spoke their own languages. That's why there are thousands of different languages in the world. Plans fail when people work apart from God. No one is greater than He is.
That's right. Go ahead.
Jesus calling. "I am the vine, you are the branches. If a man remains in me, and I in him, he will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing." John 15:5. "I am the Lord, the God and creation of all things. Creator of all things. I have given you gifts, making you able to build with your hands, run with your feet, and speak with your mouth. When you use these gifts in good ways, because you love me, you feel happy. I love seeing you enjoy what I've given you. But when you do things selfish apart from me, it is not good for anyone. I want you to live close to me. Talk with me Often through your prayers, I am always listening.
We hope you liked the story tonight.
Good night.